Verse 18, my little children, let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth. First John chapter 3 and verse 18. Isn't that what the last paragraph there was talking about? Self-sacrifice love is required for us as believers. It may not be necessary to give our lives, but certainly it is necessary to give our substance. Christianity is a love relationship. Verse 20. And hereby we know that we are of the truth and shall assure our hearts before him. First John chapter 3 and verse 19. If our lives manifest these things that John has talked about, we will have an assurance when we come before God in prayer. John has made it very clear that it is possible to be ashamed at the appearing of Christ. A great many folk talk about the coming of Christ, but they don't seem to be doing anything. When you and I come in his presence, it is going to be a very awesome experience because he is going to demand some fruit. What have you been doing? And he said, if you love me, keep my commandments. John chapter 14 and verse 15. One of his commandments is to get the word of God out, to make it to take it to the end of the earth. Are you involved in that in any way? Are you involved in anything that reveals that you are a child of God? When I was a boy living in the country, how wonderful love was expressed among those people. Whenever anybody got sick, the neighbors would come in and help. I know that there are all kinds of new methods of doing things, but frankly, I'd sure like to get back to the day when the neighbors did come in and help and take an interest. Today, we expect some bureau of the government to take care of an individual and to take him to the hospital, which we think is the best place for him. A great many Christians are not getting involved in the very thing that the Lord is interested in. But my friend, we are going to have to give an account before him someday. My little children, let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth. And hereby we know that we are of the truth and shall assure our hearts before him. If you are a child of God and are using your substance, whether you are rich or poor, to get the word of God out, God give you an assurance in your heart that you are in his will and that you are doing the thing he wants done. Then you have an assurance that when you go before him in prayer, and you will have an assurance when you stand before him someday. Paul had an assurance when he said, henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, 2 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 8. Paul knew that he had an assurance. For if our heart condemns us, God is greater than our heart and knoweth all things. 1 John chapter 3 and verse 20. The child of God can have an assurance, but suppose we are not doing what we should be doing. Does that mean that we have lost our salvation or that we did not have it in the beginning? To begin with, John says, for if our heart condemns us, God is greater than our heart and knoweth all things. We don't lose our salvation. If our hearts condemns us, God is greater than our hearts. greater than our lack of assurance. He is going to hear our prayers. Isn't He a wonderful God? When we fail Him, He won't fail us. You may not have an assurance when you go before Him. A great many Christians come to Him really empty handed. I have done nothing for you, Lord. I have done nothing at all, and yet I come to you in prayer. God is greater than your heart. He will hear your prayer. He is going to deal with you. He will hear and answer according to His will. For if our heart condemns us, God is greater than our heart and knoweth all things. You can depend upon Him, even if you don't have assurance, friend. Just keep going to Him. That young man who was struggling with alcoholism said to me, I prayed about this and I said, pray some more. He said, well, I just don't feel like I have any assurance at all. I failed him so. I told him, God knows your heart. The way you're talking to me, I believe you're sincere and I believe you mean business. I know that God is going to give you deliverance from this. Of course, you don't have an assurance because you failed Him, but He is greater than your heart and He knows you and He knows you're sincere. He is going to deal with you. You can depend on it. And that